Good afternoon, everyone. It is that top of the hour. My name is Matthew Zuccaro, and this is ZoomTRAK by NRail. NRail is the place to be for all things N-scale. Whether you are into NTRaK, T-TRAK, FreeMoN, home layouts, shelf layouts, or no layouts, you've come to the right place by joining our ZoomTRAK call this afternoon. My name is Matthew Zuccaro. I am filling in for our regular host, John Doring here at ZoomTRAK. And today I am actually live on location in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is home to the Strasburg Railroad. The Strasburg Railroad, of course, is the oldest continually operating railroad here in the United States, as well as the oldest public utility here in Pennsylvania. And before we start with our regular programming, I am going to share a quick clip of the Strasburg Railroad that was taken this morning, again, here in beautiful Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So I'm just going to play this quick clip. And of course, what separates the Strasburg Railroad from other tourist lines is their use of steam locomotives. So there you can see the number 90 locomotive pulling a full consist of passenger cars back to the depot here in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. Now for tonight's ZoomTRAK, we have a outstanding lineup of different clinics and videos to share with you. We're going to first start with Terry and his Talkin T-TRAK series. We'll then move on to several other videos. We have Andy, who is discussing the Big Bend Club, as well as Lee Williams, who's doing a segment on the Sayre layout. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And then, of course, lastly, I have a video on producing videos of model trains. Of course, as our hobby continues to grow in popularity, I know that there's a lot of interest in how can we showcase our layouts, whether they are basement empires or T-TRAK modules or FreeMoN or NTRaK to the broader community. So we have a little bit of a segment on that. But we're going to go ahead and start with Terry and his Talkin T-TRAK series. Bruce, I'll turn it over to you for the video. Thank you.
Welcome to Talkin T-TRAK. This month we're going to talk about the model railroader's best friend. T-TRAK, or any form of model railroad layout, wiring can be very intimidating to many modelers as our trains are powered by electricity through the rails. DC or DCC makes no difference. The double pole, double throw toggle switch can be used in many ways, especially since DCC auto reversers are not DC compatible. If you wire a layout correctly for DC, then it is wired correctly for DCC. Yes, it is the 21st century, but our locomotives, steam, diesel, or electric, continue to be available DC powered. New model railroaders will probably start with a DC powered set. They may continue to grow their new railroad empire with additional DC locos until they decide to try DCC and maybe convert their DC roster. Many of us have legacy locos from the dark ages that are DC powered. They could probably be converted to DCC, with sound even, but that is not always an option. So, to keep talking relevant to as many of us as possible, I need to keep blabbering on about both the DCC and DC options. Personally, I fall into the Dark Ages category, running both DC and DCC trains at home on the same layout, depending on my whims. My T-TRAK train station module set provides a middle track that can be a runaround track for both mains. It's wired to match the red track. DCC reverses mid-track for yellow trains. If yellow bus supply is reversed, no switching is required. The red supply is always selected. And DC allows the use of red or yellow throttles on the mid-track. Otherwise, matching and switching throttles can be a bit of a pain. A passing siding or runaround track, maybe on a red bus only spine track or branch. If yellow bus supply is reversed, no switching is required. This thing becomes redundant. This option is not available on red bus only spines or dead end branches. This allows DC use of the red throttle on the yellow reverser track, reverses DCC on the yellow reverser track for red trains. Now, with T-TRAK modules, the reverser section can be any length by placing insulated unijoiners between any two modules. Notice the differences. Although we are talking T-TRAK here, these suggestions can also be applied to other model railroad formats. Determine which wiring option is required for your application. The top diagram, standard T-TRAK blue, white, blue wiring, that is rails of opposite polarity. And on the bottom, non-standard T-TRAK blue, white wiring, otherwise just simply known as rails of matching polarity, like that of other model railroading formats. For DCC-powered layouts, there is the Digitrax AR1 auto reverser. I talked about the portable auto reverser in a previous Talkin T-TRAK episode. For DC or DCC powered layouts, there is the double pole, double throw toggle switch reverser. Using Cato wiring as per T-TRAK standards, this is a schematic for the portable double pole, double throw toggle switch reverser. I like to use the three-way extension cords since multiple outlet connections are sometimes handy, and it avoids having to add a three-way extension cord. Now back to my passing siding or runaround track as before. Again, if the yellow bus supply is reversed, no switching is required. This thing would be redundant. And this option is not available, that is, the yellow bus supply reversal option is not available on red bus only spines or dead end branches, as we were speaking of before. DC or DCC reverses power polarity on the yellow reverser track section for red trains. This is the same thing as before, only a different switching mechanism. This uses the single yellow supply and does not use the red supply as an alternate. Guess what I found? Cato's version of the double pole, double throw toggle switch reverser. Number 24-851 power direction control switch. Cato modelers, including T-TRAKers, no longer need to create their own double pole, double throw toggle switch base supply wiring reversers. The control is a slide switch with a center off position. Since this is about electrical polarity reversal and not train direction, a simple label correction denotes standard blue, white, blue wiring condition or reversed wiring polarity for the controlled supply. If you use those turnout controls supplied by Cato, you can create an all-inclusive control panel, since the DC power for the turnout controls flows through the reverser controls. And late breaking news, something from Cato. I quote, "A newly updated black reverse switch is here, designed to switch the track's power polarity. While the shape and function remain the same as the previous model, the new black color gives a more unified look when used together with the soundbox, anywhere power connector, turntable, and other related items. The previous blue version, 24-851, has been discontinued. Updated with a sleek black exterior, all other specs and performance remain the same." Pretty, isn't it? Thanks for watching.
Okay. Thank you so much, Terry. We appreciate that presentation. Next, we'll go ahead and move on to Lee Williams, who's going to provide an update on the Sayre layout. Go ahead and turn that over to Lee.
Okay, let me clear the screen here. Yeah, you should be able to see it. Last month, Bruce gave a briefing on the town and the buildings that Sayre was based on, and on the initial parts of the construction of the module. Today, I'll be covering some track and wiring considerations that we did. Our module track plan was very simple. It's just one straight main line through the middle of the layout and one siding. Most of the track we did was Atlas Code 55. And there's a top view of the layout. The track. Most of the track is Atlas Code 55. And the turnout is also an Atlas Code 55 turnout. We cut a slot for the tortoise steel wire, and we drilled a hole to attach a feed wire for the frog. We used Blair line wood grade crossings for where the highway crosses the track in the beginning of the siding. And we used some micro-engineering bridge track for the two short bridges over the creek. One thing to point out here is that to conform with Fremo-N standards, the track is flush with the edge of the module. To increase the durability, we soldered the ends of the rails to several PC ties, which you can see in this photo. And note that we had to cut the copper-clad traces on the top of the tie to prevent a short circuit. And finally, on the track, we used some wheel stops at the end of our siding, which are some 3D printed wheel stops from Shapeways back when you could order that from them. Going on to the wiring, we have a 12-gauge track bus on the module. And on the ends, we use the red Anderson power pole on both wires on the bus. And the power poles are stacked vertically with the left rail over right rail, and that's hood over tongue, as you can see. We also have a 12-gauge AC bus, and those are black Anderson power poles that are stacked horizontally. We use on these both buses, we use brown suitcase connectors to connect 18-gauge wire to spade lugs and a terminal strip. And you can see the track terminal strip on the left and the AC terminal strip on the right. And I'm showing here the track feed wires that go to the main line and to the siding. We used a stationary decoder for our tortoise switch machine, and we're showing here a Digitrax DCS 52 dual stationary decoder. We only used half of it. These two wires are the track feeds from the terminal, the track feed terminal strip. And then these two wires connect to the same connectors on the stationary decoder are track feed wires to the tortoise switch contacts. And then this pair right here is to the tortoise motor connection. And looking at the tortoise switch machine, as you see here, these two wires come from the stationary decoder and go to the contacts on the tortoise switch motor. There's the contacts from the stationary decoder for the motor on the tortoise. And then here's the frog feed wire. LocoNet. Fremo-In has a LocoNet, so we have an RJ12 phone jack on each end of the module. And you will note that the wire colors are all in the same order, shown on the how we have them connected to the RJ12 phone jacks. And finally, we use the Woodland Scenics Just Plug Light Hub for the interior lights for the Sayre farm power supply. And it is powered from the AC bus. And that's pretty much it for the wiring and the track on our Sayre module. Any questions?
Lee, thank you so much. We really appreciate that presentation. And of course, really nice attention to detail. Hopefully there will be an alternative to Shapeways that emerges at some point, because I know that there are a number of
well, they're back in business. Somebody else took over, but I think they've lost a big library of things that they could provide.
Yep, exactly, right. So most of their library unfortunately is gone. But 3D modeling is kind of the wave of the future there for us to get a lot of products that otherwise would not exist in N scale, but RHO and O scale peers seem to have. But appreciate that presentation, Lee. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and move on to a presentation about how you can best make a video about your railroad layout. Bruce, if you can tee up that video, and we will go ahead and play it.
Okay. I need a moment here.
No worries, Bruce. It's funny because we hear a lot about fall, and one thing about fall is that we often associate it as model railroading season. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of up in the air on whether there is an actual model railroad season. But fall definitely, for me at least, seems to be when I'm back in the layout room. I'm back when I'm actually working with most of my models. Certainly being out here in Strasburg, PA, I could say that there's a lot of people interested in railroads. And it's pretty packed out here. But I have a suspicion it has to do with the weather, right? As of course, as it gets more colder, I think we're driven more indoors and kind of rediscovered our hobbies. I see a comment that says model railroad season is January through December. And there's certainly some truth to that. I definitely find myself in the summer. It's funny because we talk a lot about it getting too cold, but then of course it gets too hot depending on where you are in the country as well. So, I think model railroad season could definitely be pretty universal. I appreciate that comment as well in the discussion about the Strasburg number 90. They certainly have her out here working very hard all day on at least 5 different tour trains that have gone back and forth on the hour. By the way, the trains here, they normally start at about 11 a.m. And they run on the hour up until 5 p.m. And then, of course, it being fall and this late in the season, as we approach Halloween, they have a spooky express that departs at about 6:45. because back in the station, they were telling us over at the station, they're still trying to figure out the right level of spookiness for the train here at Strasbourg, somewhere in between Disney and the Saw series. So if you've seen the Saw series, you certainly know what spooky is. But they're trying to make a train that appeals to, of course, families, but also Halloween enthusiasts as well. So they're still tweaking it from what we understand. So if you are expecting something super scary or something like Disney, not quite there.
Like a brand new one, and, a used one.
All right. Bruce, are you able to get the video?
So the used one would be able to save us a whole lot. That's kind of one we're thinking. It was still one grand cheap. It's kind of disappointing. There's all
I'll have it in a minute.
the brand new ones got the windows.
All right, no worries.
Windows, outside, but they only crank out about that much. Tip out.
No worries. And of course, as that loads,
Wow.
it definitely is a great season to get out and support your local tourist railroad, wherever you may be.
It's kind of nice.
A lot of different options throughout the country, no matter where you are.
A lot of nice features.
This is really a great season to be out and enjoying trains, whether it's diesel, steam powered, or even if you're going out on your local commuter line.
You could buy it for this brand new.
Now, the video that Bruce is teeing up, of course, is about how you can take your own different video snippets of your layout. And I use the term layout very loosely, right? Because a layout can also be a T-TRAK module, could be your NRail module, FreeMoN, whatever it may be, how you are engaged in the hobby. It's really important. If you want to show that off to others, you can very easily create a video using your phone. If you have other equipment like a GoPro or even a standalone camera, that also works. But really, it's super simple to get out there and create kind of video snippets of your layout or your module and push that out to the internet. That's a great way to encourage people to get into the hobby. I know, especially I think one of the benefits that came out of COVID is that a lot of people who were kind of solo hobbyists, right, that they were lone wolves, creating modules, creating layouts. They thought it was a good opportunity to go out and actually take their work, take a video of it, photos of it, publish it on social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, TikTok now. And that really served as a lot of inspiration for some different modelers out there. Okay. Bruce, so I can also go ahead and show the video. I do have it on my desktop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
If you can
Yep.
go ahead.
So let me go ahead. I will show that video. And again, this video here is meant to be very generic because I know as hobbyists, we have different types of technology at our disposal. Some of us may only have our mobile devices. We may have Microsoft computers, may have Apple computers. So this is just more meant to be a generic kind of introduction to video recording, your experience with the hobby, and how to share it. So I will go ahead and share that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Zuccaro. I'm the NRail social media coordinator, and today's ZoomTRAK presentation is called Lights, Camera, Caboose. It's a brief discussion on creating short-form social media videos of your model railroad layout. Now, a first question comes to mind is, why would you want to create a video of your layout and post it online? Well, we got a couple of reasons. The first is the video itself will bring your layout to life. It allows you to really showcase any motion, sounds, lights, operations. And of course, as you being the producer of your own video, you can really hone in on which aspects you want to showcase. Next, it's great for connecting with others, especially if you're proud of your modeling work, and I'm sure we all are. And lastly, social media is really today's train club. I know we just had a couple of in-person train shows take place between the NMRA convention in Novi, Michigan. We had the N-Scale Altoona weekend. We have Train Fest coming up. But in between those in-person shows, if you want to stay connected to the hobby, continue to have discussions around N-Scale, and more importantly, inspire others, posting videos of your train layout online to different social media platforms is a great way to do just that. What you need. So we're going to make a couple of assumptions. And again, today's presentation is really basic, talking about the fundamentals of how to go about creating a short form video. The first assumption is you have some type of smartphone or tablet. Doesn't have to be fancy. It could be an iPhone, Android, iPad. They're all great options. If you want to take it up a notch, you can invest in something like a GoPro, but you don't really have to do that to get started. Some optional accessories. The first is a small tripod or a phone stand that helps with steadiness of the camera. A lot of phones nowadays, they have kind of self-correcting, stabilization. So you don't necessarily need a tripod, however, it does help. And of course, if you are video recording anything that is in a dimly lit room, you can consider getting a selfie light. That's very helpful. But of course, that's optional as well. Some tips for taking good video. First off, you want to maximize natural light if possible, or use really nice, bright white LEDs, layout lighting. Keep clips short. Again, you don't have to produce a movie. You don't have to produce anything that's even longer than a minute. Really, you can take short clips of your layout. 15 to 16 seconds is perfect. And as you're doing so, follow the train smoothly with your camera. You can get kind of fancy by trying out different angles. A couple popular angles that I use is you can do an overhead where you hold the camera directly over the track as the train's going by. You have eye level, and that's as if you were looking eye level at the train layout. And of course, you got end of train, a couple other different perspectives you should consider experimenting. Could be like first person view. If you really want to get into it, you could even put a camera on the front of your engine and use that. But to get started, you could just take your phone or iPod and do a couple of overhead shots, eye level shots. Again, 15, 60 seconds. 60 seconds is the sweet spot. Of course, while you are recording your layout, be sure to turn your device sideways for YouTube, any YouTube videos. As well as I'll loop Facebook into that. But if you are recording for TikTok or Instagram, you would hold your device vertical. But for the most part, hold your device horizontal if you're looking for a YouTube or Facebook. Some tools that you can use, and again, I'm trying to be operating system platform agnostic here. I do have a Mac, so I tend to use iMovie to edit my videos. However, if you have an Android device, you can use UCut. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, there is the mobile version of iMovie, which is fantastic. Another app is called CapCut, and that works on Android or iOS. Windows Photos, so if you have a PC, that has a built-in video editor. Another app that you can consider is called Clipchamp, and that is available on Windows as well as through the web browser. And lastly, Google Photos, which is web-based. They have some quick video editing software that you could use. Again, nothing too elaborate. You're not going to be producing a movie, but it's helpful for those short form videos of your layout that you want to post quickly on the different social media platforms. Sharing the social media, it's important to pick a platform, stick with it, and get started. You don't have to do all of them at once. A really popular one to start with is Facebook. Chances are you're already on there. You have a Facebook account. You might even belong to some model railroading groups. If not, feel free to follow us, NRail, on Facebook. YouTube is another popular platform. Of course, when you think of videos posted online, YouTube comes to mind. A lot of fantastic model railroaders are posting content on YouTube, ton of channels. Instagram is another option, good for short form videos. TikTok, of course, if you want looking to reach a younger audience, and it has a ton of fun features. It also has some editing capabilities built in, so that's something to consider. And of course, another one is called Clipchamp, a little more farther afield. However, any of these platforms are really good options for you to consider as you look to post videos of your layout online. Some best practices. Again, keep the videos short. They don't have to be long. Under 1 minute to start is really good. And one thing that I want to point out is that you'll say, oh, a 1 minute video, that's really easy. I'll tell you, a 1 minute video to do some post-production editing, you're probably looking at about anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So if that's an incentive to keep it short, I don't know what else is. When you are ready to post your video, put some thought behind a short description. That's really helpful, as well as any hashtags. You got some basic ones, hashtag model railroader, hashtag N scale, hashtag trains. That really helps the algorithms direct your video to the appropriate audience. Also include the scale and location and error. Sometimes it's readily apparent. Obviously, if you have steam locomotives, it's going to be probably pre-1950. But include that helpful information in that video. One thing I should also note is that you don't have to show yourself in any of these videos. Actually, some of the more popular model railroad content creators on YouTube never ever show themselves on it. So if you're camera shy, let the layout be the star. So again, just another incentive for showcasing your layout on social media. You can add auto captions if people speak. That's really helpful feature. A lot of times it's turned on by default, but if not, go ahead and turn that on. And lastly, keep the focus on the trains. And what I mean by that is, first off, if you have any type of distracting, anything in the background that would be distracting to the audience, if you can remove it, do so. If you do provide any commentary on your layout, keep it focused on the trains. That's why people are there to look at your recordings. And that's what gets people really excited, is seeing the work that you've done on the layout, hearing about how you got from, bench work to a fully scenic layout. And if you're not at fully scenic layout yet, people are still interested. They want to see in progress shots. They want to see stuff that's starting from the scratch, absolute scratch built, working its way up. So you don't have to have a finished layout to showcase it. You can absolutely have a layout that's in progress. To wrap up, start with one clip and one platform. So challenge yourself. Say, I'm going to create a 15-second clip and I'm going to post it on the TikTok. Use built-in tools before trying different apps. So again, if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, there are some built-in applications already that are really simple to use that probably will get you where you're going, where you want to go. But of course, as you start to go down the path and you advance, you can try different apps. Ask a friend or family member to help with uploading, especially if you have any younger family members who are already on social media and pretty active. Ask them for help. They can always show you, there's always new updates that are coming out. They might be more in tune to that and can show you some tips and tricks. Of course, give you feedback. Watch others for inspiration. Again, YouTube is a fantastic source for that. A ton of model railroaders are on there. A lot of really great content creators. I believe there's an article in maybe several months ago in the NRail newsletter that listed out some YouTube content creators who focus on model railroading. I'll give that a look and follow some of them to get some great ideas for how they create videos and some inspiration for that. Lastly, have fun with it and be open to feedback. Again, you're posting your layout online. The overwhelming amount of feedback you're going to get is going to be positive. You may get some individuals who want to provide constructive feedback. So be open to it, embrace it. You can get some ideas. All these platforms allow individuals to comment on it, and you can have a discussion about your layout. You might get some new ideas, new perspectives that you weren't considering before. But again, the biggest rule with this is have fun and enjoy the hobby. That's all I have for this presentation. Again, it was meant to be sort of a brief introduction to videos and model railroading. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you for attending today's ZoomTRAK. Okay. And I really want to emphasize the importance of course, having fun with your model train layout. Again, and we use the term layout quite loosely here, because it could be a module, could be something you have in your basement, could be a 2x4 shelf layout like I have. But one thing about our hobby that I think is quickly emerging as kind of a hobby within a hobby is this content creation, this idea that you created your layout, you created your module, Now let's go ahead and show it to the world beyond a local train show. And I feel that that's very important because it inspires others to also get into the hobby. It also, as well as someone who's very active in the hobby, it gives me ideas. So this video was initially, it's meant to serve as kind of a jumping off point. Again, not all of us may have a, standalone, computer. We certainly may have, whether an iPhone or an Android. And then at home, we might have an Apple computer, a Microsoft computer. We can all create content that inspires others and gets people interested in our hobby. Here, whether it's N scale model trains or even just diorama building in general. For today's ZoomTRAK, I know we had some really great comments in the discussion, and we appreciate all that. Today might be a little bit of a shorter ZoomTRAK than normal. I asked Bruce.
Yeah, we're for some reason, I guess Andy got hung up on something.
Okay.
Because I don't see him here,
Mhm.
and I did text him, but I am going to go ahead and launch the poll now, and I'd
Okay.
like everybody to go ahead and fill that out. We do
Perfect.
use your feedback, and
Perfect. Bruce, we certainly appreciate that survey. And of course, all of us who are on the ZoomTRAK today, I do ask that you please fill that out. I'm going to go ahead and do that shortly after call today. What the survey does is it allows us to make sure that we are hitting the mark in terms of the content that we are providing to you as NRail members. We want to make sure that you are engaged, that you find that our ZoomTRAK clinics are interesting and relevant to what you are modeling. And of course, it gives us ideas for future clinics. That's really important because after each ZoomTRAK, we do come back together as a group and we say, okay, what's going to be the next show? One idea, I'm just going to toss this out here, and please don't let that influence your survey. But I know I'm very interested in learning more about static grass. I just did my third attempt at static grass, and of course, it came out not looking quite staticky. Came out more like flat grass. But of course, be sure to put your opinions and comments and feedback in that survey. I also want to point out too, Bruce has a really interesting background on him. That is the New Jersey Transit Meadowlands Maintenance Complex, also known as the MMC. That is in the northeast of the United States. That is a critical maintenance facility for New Jersey Transit, which of course is the statewide public transportation agency for the state of New Jersey. Provides over 100,000 commuters a ride into either New York City or Hoboken Terminal. Of course, Hoboken Terminal is very famous because it's on the New Jersey waterfront overlooking Manhattan. It used to be a Lackawanna facility and then, of course, became Erie Lackawanna. From Hoboken Terminal, you can get connections via the ferry or the PATH, which is the Port Authority Trans Hudson, back into lower Manhattan. But that is a critical facility. Myself, being a New Jersey native, recognize it. Of course, those locomotives, they're the sleek-looking Alp 45s. Looks like you got a Jeep also in the background there. But from all of us here at NRail, we really appreciate your participation in our October ZoomTRAK. We wish all of you a wonderful fall. And with that, again, live on location here in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, home of the oldest operating railroad in the United States. We hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful fall. Thank you so much for joining us.
our next ZoomTRAK will be November 15th. So we hope to see all of you there. And if you can just finish up with the poll, we'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks,
Yep, definitely. Now, thank you, Bruce, and thank you everyone for joining us. We really do appreciate it, and we do appreciate your feedback in the poll. We do take that very seriously, and we look forward to an exciting ZoomTRAK in November. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Matt. Thanks. Good job.
You got it, Bruce. Anytime. Thank you.